Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday's Market Outlook here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, and obviously going to be an extremely volatile week ahead after last week's volatile week. And we're looking forward to a couple more weeks of a lot of volatility. 2 Mondays ago, folks, remember this headline in the Wall Street Journal? Markets are eerily quiet right now, and some folks called for a
It appeared
VIX-explosion.
our market
And I was one of them, and we nailed it, folks. Volatility had a rip-your-face-off rally. It smashed, and it's going to stay up. As I predicted, volatility is going to stay elevated all the way up until the president on September 1st or before decides to actually increase those tariffs on China. We are in the midst of a full-blown trade war. And ladies and gentlemen, trade wars can, fortunately, blow up into full-blown shooting wars, okay? Market is rolling over right now. Futures are down 130 on the Dow, looking for a big red opening here, and that's to be expected. As I predicted last week, this was going to be a potential black swan event. Was Hong Kong. A lot of big Steve Eisman, the Big Short, reveals the next big black swan is going to be Hong Kong. All right, I'm glad Steve is a member here at Top Gun Options, because I called this about a month ago, ladies and gentlemen. I said Hong Kong is going to be the flashpoint, and I've excoriated the president for absolutely acting and speaking like a coward on this matter. Hong Kong used to be free. It was a part of the once great British Empire, and they gave it back to China, quote unquote, in a nice ceremony and everything like that. And what did China agree to the world? One country, two systems, meaning you guys can have your whatever it is you do in Hong Kong, and we're going to be China, and we're still going to put our boot on people's necks and throw you in prison if we don't like you. Well, guess what? That's not sitting too well with folks in Hong Kong. The whole extradition thing that blew up a month and a half ago. That's when I started predicting this is going to be a flashpoint. Hong Kong is a massive global financial center, and if these troops, the Global Times just showed video up in Shenzhen. I've been up towards Shenzhen before in Hong Kong of Chinese troops massing. Dramatic World War II, World War III style music. The Chinese state-owned Global Times published. Okay, it's insane. So will China invade Hong Kong and potentially trigger a global war, as the West has no choice but to do what? Come to the wayward territories defense? I don't think that's going to happen, folks. We don't have a defense of Hong Kong agreement. If anything, the Brits need to wake the hell up. They screwed up Pakistan, India, the Middle East, and over here. The British really have left things in shambles. So obviously Hong Kong's a global financial center, a lot of American interests there. But hey, man, this was a British territory. So where's the Brits on this? Well, the Brits are trying to find a couple rowboats to maybe protect some of their tankers, and actually they can't, so they're asking us. But at the end of the day, folks, we don't have a defense of Hong Kong agreement. We do, however, have a defense of Taiwan agreement. So the president's saying, this Hong Kong thing, it's, Xi showing restraint, and it's none of my business. They got to figure it out. Is absolutely retarded. Absolute retarded statement coming out of the president, and he needs to fix that ASAP, because if they storm into Hong Kong and put this thing down military style, that is the black swan event. You won't even see this 200-day moving average. We're going to be, as I predicted last week, these things are moving averages. This is the S&P 500. There's the 50-day. There's the 200-day, and they act as magnets. We had this stupid snapback rally last week. What was that, folks? That was a short squeeze. If you bought on the snapback rally and you're anything other than a day trader, you're an idiot, to be brutally honest with you. Or not brutally, that's just being honest. We are heading lower. The bias is to the downside. It's the exact same thing that happened down here. Rip your face off implosion, short squeeze to the 50, and then down through the 200. And then who came to our rescue? Uncle Jerome. And we'll get to him in a second. So that's exactly what's going to happen here, folks. We won't even, especially this morning, we're not going to make it up to the 50. Nothing that caused this initial implosion has gone away. We're still in the trade war. As a matter of fact, looking at Hong Kong, potential real war. If they are allowed to storm into Hong Kong and beat people up and stifle all this, what do you think they're going to do with Taiwan? They've never considered Taiwan one country, two systems. They've only used that sentence with Hong Kong. They called Taiwan a renegade province that they're going to take back. Last month, we sold $2.2 billion in arms sales to Taiwan. infuriating the Chinese. What do you think they're going to do if Trump just sits there and says, "Nah, it's okay. You guys can do whatever you want with Hong Kong, the biggest, one of the biggest financial centers in the world." So, folks, we are going lower. Volatility, as I predicted, is going higher. We talked about last week in a couple of our trade briefs about having what? Dueling. You can have dueling volatility trades. You can. I have some on right now. I'm short volatility because by next Friday, I think volatility comes in, unless obviously something huge happens. In Hong Kong. But right now, volatility is going to go up. Talked about this last Thursday in depth. I said you can have dueling volatility trades on, and when the VIX opens today, it's going to be up here in the low 20s easily if the selling doesn't accelerate and go even higher. So Hong Kong, as I predicted, is big on the radar right now, and it can only get worse. There's no way these protesters are going to just sit there and go, "Oh, okay, yay China," and there's no way China's going to go, "Hey, you guys can keep running around doing whatever the hell you want." Great op-ed today in the Wall Street Journal about the trade war hitting China where it hurts. Beijing's doctored data shows that growth has slowed to 6.2%. The actual rate is almost certainly worse. Again, I appreciate the Wall Street Journal being Top Gun Options members. I've been saying this for years. There is no way that the data coming out of China are in fact correct. It's obviously a lot lower. They reported 6.2% GDP in the second quarter, their slowest growth since 1992. It's the year after I got commissioned and the first penny I started investing, 1992, down at Naval Air Station Key West, where I was stashed in an adversary squadron. So yeah, Beijing for years has cooked the books to make their performance look better. Now they're undoubtedly doing the same now. Their per capita, it's a poor country, folks. Their per capita GDP is 10 grand. It's below Romania. Even at 6% growth, it would take decades for China to catch up with Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, let alone the United States. So this is bad. They're reaping what they sow, folks. For decades, they've done what? They've stolen, they've stifled private banking or an independent legal system, and they're getting what they've paid for. So the president isn't far off when he said, "Hey, this is the greatest theft in the history of the world." So the president's right to do this. It's painful, it's ugly, but at the end of the day, what are we going to do? Keep getting robbed? It's like the stupid Supreme Court. Thank God Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh have changed their tune with, precedent. Liberals always ask potential Supreme Court nominees, "Oh, what do you believe about precedent and settled law?" There is no such thing as precedent. Well, Roe versus Wade has been the law of the land. Well, if it's been the law of the land and it's been wrong, we don't follow wrong precedent. I love stuff like that. So just because for Obama, the Bushes, and the Clintons completely getting screwed by China, it doesn't mean that that doesn't need to end. So it's going to get ugly. I am loving the work we're doing on FXI. I have at least 3 private. Look at this. Dead cat bounce. FXI is going to open and implode. You see this? This is a double bottom. We did a bearish afterburner trade, a bearish burner trade a week and a half ago that made $20,000 on 6 grand in risk. Isn't that insane? If you had risked 3 grand, you would have made 10. It's going to do the exact same thing down here. And folks, if you're not having fun doing this type of stuff, man, you're in the wrong place. It is bearish double. Listen to me, all of my members, bearish double vertical time. I've already set many of my coaching members up with their bearish double verticals for the week. Actually, September, October is when most of last year's coaching folks that signed up are rolling off. I think I don't know, about half the folks are going to stay on coaching. The other half are like, "Dude, I've got it." Jeff, Amy, Steve are rolling off saying, "Dude," well, Amy and Steve have been going a year and a half. So you can reach out to me if you're interested in private coaching. But my private coaching clients have been printing money, folks, doing this stuff. Why? Well, I talk to them almost daily via text or email, and we meet once a week on Go-To Training. So what's going to happen? We got another month of this, folks, easily. Look at what May 1st to June 1st. Implosion, bounce, implosion. August 1st to what? September 1st? Folks, Donald Trump, it does not look he's going to waver on this, and guess what's going to happen? Jerome Powell's going to need to come in and save the day with a 0.5 point cut at the next Fed meeting in September, right? He's almost on a daily basis. He's beating the hell out of the Fed, ladies and gentlemen. So we got trade woes, we got Hong Kong protests, we got Iran that's still running around over in the Arabian Gulf, jamming GPS systems to force ships into their waters. Really, really bad. So, and a lot of other folks are starting to say the R word, right? JP Morgan, the Fed will need to restart what? QE, quantitative easing. Right now, the Fed's doing QT, quantitative tightening, the exact opposite of this. So even though I'm not a big fan of the president beating up Jerome Powell and the Fed, the guy's got a point. World banks around this big blue marble are doing what? It's a race to the bottom as far as lower interest rates. Negative interest rates? My God, man, they're going to pay you. Or I'm sorry, you're going to pay them. See, that's how crazy negative interest rates are, folks. Are you kidding me? So this is getting uglier. It's going to be worse if things don't catch a bid here. So I'm having fun. You need to be long and short volatility right now. Volatility is a heart rate monitor. It comes in, but then it goes out. Remember, I always call this the uncertainty index. It's not the volatility index. Just put the word uncertainty where it says volatility. Freak out. Well, freak out's kind of subsided, but we're still elevated. Freak out again today. All right. Like I said, if you're not having fun doing this, you're doing it wrong. We're going to talk this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Amazon's quest for constant growth is not leaving it with many friends, except for who? Wall Street. 45 analysts reiterated their buy rating recently. So, it doesn't have a lot of friends, but guess what? I absolutely love it. I think it's great. FedEx doesn't like it. The FTC doesn't like it. A bunch of people don't like it. Guess what, man? You can kiss our ass. This is an absolute Death Star, and it's going higher. Even UPS is like, well, FedEx ditched you, but we're going to hang out. Carrier is hitching itself to the e-commerce giant after FedEx cuts ties, taking a long-term risk for short-term gain. So we're going to talk about this, like I said, at 3 o'clock. We have Solo Amazon. It's our newest service. It's our least expensive service here. If you want to get into it, you can head to go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo for $97. Only $97, the price for a nice dinner down here in Fort Lauderdale. You can get airborne and see me at 3 o'clock. We're going to talk about where Amazon is right now, where it's going next, and where I think it's long term. Long term, easily, folks. In a year from now, it's about $3,000 stock, easily. If not, we're in a recession, and everybody's going to be underpaying there. And that's when Bill Maher, that liberal piece of shit, will get his wish. Like, he's praying for a recession, even though he knows it'll hurt a lot of Americans. He's praying for a recession so Trump loses. That's the type of country we live in now, where liberals actually root against the good of country. I don't know. And how about Epstein, man? Jesus Christ, unbelievable. So the same government who can't even keep a absolute critical witness alive, who was on suicide watch, and the cameras didn't work mysteriously. And are you shitting me? A government that can't even keep a witness alive to one of the most biggest cases against men and women in power in this country, quote, commit suicide. And last night the coroner can even say, well, we need more information. The government that can't keep that dude safe says, give us your guns and we'll keep you safe. Trust us. I seem to remember American Indians saying the same thing. Like, hey, good news. I just talked to Uncle Sam, and they said, give us, if we turn in our guns, they'll keep us safe. Come on, folks. Wake up. Absolutely disgusting what's going on in this country. It was Clinton's side, by the way. All right, I got to get going. Going to be a bloody morning. Going to be fun, though. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock for our weekly options live trade brief, or I'll see you at 3 o'clock for Solo Amazon. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday's Market Sit Rep.